Take one. That's what everybody will say.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Andrew. Are you well?
Not bad, you?
Good. Thanks.
Okie-doke. All this CPD stuff we've been hearing about. The IFL asks us to do 30 hours of CPD a year. What do you make of that? And what does your particular industry require you to do in terms of CPD?
Okay, well, I deliver an award by the IMI,
Okay.
which stands for the Institute for Motor Industries.
Okay.
And strangely enough, I'm very required to do exactly the same amount of hours.
What a coincidence.
Yeah. So there's no problems with that.
Right, okay. So that fits nicely, yeah.
Yeah. So, in your industry, what's the situation in electrical installation? I mean, is it different, bearing in mind that new technology in your industry, no offence to this, but they don't move really at the same rate as they do in the motor industry?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, we can all see from the cars that we're driving how fast things are changing. And the electrical industry, really, someone who was an electrician 30 years ago would still be able to do most of the work that's done. So, really, our industry doesn't specify a number of hours like yours does. To be honest, I don't mind that because, I mean, the IFL calls it sheep dip CPD.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I think what they're saying there is that in some industries, some colleges maybe, other training organisations, a whole department is taken through the same sheet of CB, so they might all have to do an IT course at the same time. And it's irrespective of their current level in that area, so everybody gets an IT course, even though some are experts and some aren't up to the course. So I don't mind not having to do a fixed number of hours from my industry. Obviously the IFL asks me to do a number of hours. What I need from my industry is to make sure that I've got a certificate in the current version of the wiring regulations. And really the wiring regs only change about every 5 years, so I'm quite happy to do that. I don't see that as a burden really. Doing an online exam every 5 years, that's fine.
Lucky you.
Okie-doke. So, I mean, we've been asked to do all this CPD. Do you think it's necessary or reasonable to do all of this just to maintain membership of your industry body? And what would happen if you were just to say, I'm not doing it?
Right, okay. Well, it is necessary
in
motor vehicle because you do need to keep abreast of these new technologies that we've already mentioned. I'd have to be confident in delivering something. So I need to know where I'm coming from. And if we refuse to do it, well, I think our EV would probably put a sanction on it. If you didn't have the relevant qualification to a particular unit you wanted to deliver, then it put a sanction on it.
So it could be quite serious.
Yeah, well, what it would probably do, I mean, we've not been down this road, but what would happen, it'd give you an action plan. And you say, well, if you want to deliver this, you can deliver it next year, but you need to pass the relevant qualification in time to deliver it. But yeah, as I say, if I didn't have it, it'd affect my teaching because I wouldn't be confident really in what I'm delivering.
And I was saying, we talked about this before, but in my industry, students can catch me out by being more ahead of me than, more ahead in the industry in terms of their knowledge than me. Occasionally they surprise me. I suppose that could happen in your industry too.
Yeah, it does in the industry. Yeah. Where I'm teaching at the moment, it's only year 10 and 11, so they're not in the industry themselves, we're just preparing them. I mean, if you didn't do CPD, would it make it harder for you to return to industry if you wanted to? So if you're fed up with this job and you want to go back in? Right,
I see what you mean. I mean, it's a good point there because I got a phone call 2 days ago from an agency asking me if I was interested in still working. I do like the comfort, I do like getting home at a reasonable time, so I said no on this occasion, but I'd like to know there's always an option. As I've said before, having the wiring regs certificates is essential. All the IT and the equality and diversity stuff we do, obviously it's very interesting to me, and I think it's useful for me and my teaching. But I'm afraid to say, in the construction industry, it's not seen as a great priority, from my experience anyway. So the regs would help me return to work. The other CPD I've done, I'm afraid, would not be looked at. Now we know that it's good to stay up to date, but it all hangs on how much support you get from your employer. How much support does your employer give you to stay up to date with industry developments in terms of time and resources?
You might be surprised to hear that we don't get any support. We do receive trade magazines, once again from the IMI, Institute of Motor Industry, which are very good. Okay. But there's no timetabling really for any of that sort of CPD. But off my own bat, interestingly, over the summer break, I've arranged to go into an old colleague of mine who runs a garage, so I'm going to go in gratis. Just to try and keep up to date. Now, the problem is, although it is a good garage, it's not up to date himself, it's not invested in main technologies. Main independent garages rely on specialists, so if it's an electrical problem, we'll get in an auto electrician.
Oh, I see, right.
Okay. The only way really to keep really on top of it would to try and get in at a main dealer.
So would that be an opportunity, so to go to the main Ford or Nissan dealer?
Well, but the chances of them actually saying yes, come in and wander around are very, very slim. So. Something's better than nothing, so I'm gonna work with my friend for a week over the summer break and try and take as much advantage of what I can learn as possible.
Sounds good. Yeah. Good luck with that. I'd like to do something similar.
I think last week you were chatting. You were saying that your college is getting a completely new building.
Okay. Yes, true. Really it's beautiful. Yeah.
So I'm guessing there you've got lots of opportunities to try and keep abreast of things and maybe have a nosy around and learn some about the latest electrical systems that they're using.
Well, you would have thought so, wouldn't you? Yeah. With the college awarding a massive contract to a local construction company, I think built into the contract there was an obligation on the construction company to allow students and staff, as part of the CPD, to get in there and find out about the latest fantastic air conditioning and heating systems. Unfortunately, reality has been very different, and obstacles have been put in the way all the time by the contractor, who's obviously under great pressure to finish on time. So even a qualified, experienced lecturer is a bit of a liability on site, bumbling about, not knowing what they're doing and needing to be looked after. And I think it's that, really, the health and safety issues, combined with the timetable restraints that we've got, because we've got full-time teaching timetables. So it's been a real pity to see this fantastic brand new building emerge and not to have seen anything of the new electrical systems in there. I think it's been a real pity. So anyway, it's nearly finished.
Yeah, right.
So Chris, I think I can safely say we both agree that industry-related CPD is good.
Yeah.
I think we haven't talked about it here, but we both talked about other teaching related to CPD. We both agree that that's been useful for us, for our students. But the problem is always that our jobs don't allow us to take advantage of that. So, Chris, here's a simple one for you. What's the solution to all of this? There you go.
Oh, it's easy.
There you go.
Well, I mean, colleges really need to see CPD as an investment and not just a cost, you know, like in terms of lost contact hours, which seems to be the all-important thing. They'll benefit in the long term by attracting students as word gets out that the colleges are more up-to-date, offering up-to-date courses.
Yeah, I can see that happening, yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons how we can do this maybe is that CPD should be built into the timetable in advance.
Yeah.
So as we're looking towards next year, allowing that CPD to be built into it so that it's not a surprise to them, or it doesn't get overlooked.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, because if it's built into the plan, like you say, it shouldn't create too much disruption when a member of staff needs to go off and do a bit of this industry CPD. Yeah. Sounds great. Well, thanks for that, Chris. I hope it's implemented soon.
That's
great. Thank you very much.
Okay.